my name is Jessica Bodwin. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist at Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we'll be making a lentil and quinoa soup. This comforting, nutrient-packed dish is really easy to prepare. In fact, it's a one-pot meal, one of my favorite ways to cook. Today we'll be making this recipe on the stove top, but you could also prepare it in a slow cooker or in an Instant Pot. Let's run down the ingredients. We'll use 1 cup of lentils, either brown or green, 1/2 cup of quinoa, 1 medium onion, 2 carrots, 2 celery stalks, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of curry powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, and a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 2 cups of spinach, and 4 cups of broth or water. First, we'll prepare our ingredients. With quinoa and with lentils, you'll want to rinse them off ahead of time. For the quinoa, that's because you want to get any extra starch and a little bit of a bitter flavor off of them. I usually use a very fine mesh sieve in order to rinse off my quinoa thoroughly. And then for the lentils, you'll also want to rinse them, again, because of some of the starch and the dirt on the outside. Beforehand, you'll want to pick through and identify any lentils that don't look like the right shape or any errant pebbles that have made their way into your bag of lentils, and then give them a good rinse off until the water runs clear below. First, we'll dice up our onion. Go ahead and cut off the nose. Slice it in half, peel it. Make a slice across the onion like so, and then several slits down the middle, leaving that root bulb intact. And then lastly, perpendicular to those previous slices, we've got a perfect mince. All right, next we'll dice up the carrots. I like to first slice them into shorter strips. And then line them up and dice. Now we'll dice up the celery, cutting off the ends, slicing it into more manageable chunks, cut it into strips, and then line it up to finish off the dice. Now we'll mince the garlic. I like to mash them with the side of a knife just to kind of lightly loosen up the skins. Makes it much easier to peel. And then mince it. All right, I've got my ingredients prepped. Now let's get to cooking. I'm going to take my saucepan and heat that over about a medium-high heat and add just about a tablespoon or so of some plant-based oil. Once that's had a few minutes on the stove, you'll want to test to see if the oil's hot enough by taking a piece of your prepped veggies and dropping it into the oil. If it sizzles like you can hear right now, then it's ready. First, we're going to cook off our vegetables, our celery, carrots, and onions for about 7 to 8 minutes until soft. Go ahead and give those a stir to begin, but really they don't need a whole lot of babysitting, just need to stir them a couple of times while they're sauteing. Once you can see that the onions are translucent and the vegetables are starting to soften, you're ready to move on to the next step. Next, we'll add in our garlic and our spices. And you'll just want to go ahead and stir that and combine it until it's nice and fragrant. After about 30 seconds, as soon as you can tell that fragrance really is coming through, we're ready to add in the broth, as well as our quinoa and our lentils. Once it's reached a boil, go ahead and turn the heat down to low and let it simmer loosely covered for about 30 minutes. So once that's simmered for about 30 minutes, we're going to test to make sure the lentils are done. What you want is for the lentils to be able to kind of squish right between your tongue and the roof of your mouth with just a little bit of light pressure. And that tastes pretty good. So So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the heat and add in the spinach. You don't necessarily need to cook it with the spinach in it. It's actually just gonna stir and then cook with some of the residual heat from the soup. Lastly, we'll add in our 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and season with just a little bit of salt and some cracked black pepper. The lemon juice is a really crucial ingredient in this recipe. Not only does it bring a nice light, bright acidity and cut through some of the earthiness of the lentils, but it also helps our body to absorb some of the plant-based iron from the lentils and the spinach with the vitamin C in that lemon juice. Should we give it a taste? That little bit of lemon juice right at the end, that acidity brings the whole thing together. Not only is this delicious now, but it makes for great leftovers. You can actually store the soup in freezer-safe plastic bags in the freezer for up to 3 months. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think. Happy cooking!